My name's Erica Kessler-Eisen, and this is my husband Raymond. And we built this beautiful 26.5-foot tiny house on wheels. We spent about 5 years in total working on our project. It was a labor of love. Spent about 2.5 years planning, 2.5 years building, and we've been living in it for a year now. Ray and I are kind of used to always living in not necessarily small spaces, but just kind of weird spaces. We lived in a typical apartment for a while, downsized from that 1,200 square foot space to 600 square foot house. And then after that moved into my parents' house for a brief stint before we moved to Northeast England. That situation was kind of weird. We were actually homeless for about 3 weeks. We ended up moving into a semi-detached house, which is the end of one of the row houses they have out there. And we're very thankful that we were able to have our own space out there for a while. And then moving back into my parents' house when we returned to the States, and then various roommate situations after that. So we knew we wanted to have our own home, but the Denver housing market is kind of a mess, and it's getting more and more expensive, and the idea of being able to have a home where we could keep everything we needed and wanted and could take anywhere with us was very appealing.
We're both nomadic at heart, so it made sense to do something that could travel with us. No matter where we go, the house stays the same, but the view is different, which is great. So one of the best features of the house was this. It was a must-have when we built the house. We had to have a Dutch door. This is excellent for the dogs. They can run around and do their thing and then stay outside, and we still get that breeze, or they stay inside on the nice rainy days, but I still want to kind of get a breeze going through the house. So let's go on in. Welcome to our home, Das kleine Haus. That is German for the little house. This is, you walk in, you come into the kitchen. So we're both kind of tall individuals, and we wanted tall countertops. I worked in the kitchen for a while, and I was tired of always bending over and messing with it, so we went nice and high. These are 40-inch countertops. They are epoxy, but made to look like concrete. So as we walk through the kitchen, obviously plate storage. We have some ukuleles. We actually don't know how to play them, which is unfortunate. But this one is my favorite. This is our prized possession. Nice cigar box guitar, right? It's full of tiny little things, and it's autographed by Tenacious D. So we won it in a raffle from one of our favorite brewery, Wits End, and it just now hangs on my wall because it's pretty. As we come through, we got the Berkey because we never know exactly where we're going to get our water from. Currently, we get water from a well, which works wonderful. It's drinkable, but well water has a tendency to smell, and this takes out all those smells we have. And then as we're traveling and go to new places, we may not always know where we can get water, but I always know I can drink it. So you walk through, we have a giant kitchen sink. The nice thing about this is this is multi-purpose. So we have a drying rack that rolls right out. You still have access to half the sink that you can use while your dishes dry, which is really nice. And then that just tucks away. It's out of the way. It's a super unique sink. I don't see a whole lot of these now. I didn't see a whole lot of these before we bought it. Once we bought it, I've seen it everywhere, and that might be the whole, hey, I know what it is now, I know what I'm looking for sort of thing. It's called a living sink because as it ages, it patinas. So you get the greens, you get those grays, you get all those different colors that mold into it as it grows and ages. And I think it's gorgeous. We kind of have that copper theme running throughout. We got a copper roof, the sink, and a few other copper things you see as we go through the house. Well, since we're in the kitchen and you've just seen our giant copper sink, we also have a nice table. So this is a really cool thing that we had to have. We do often use the countertop as a bar. We'll stand and eat at it. We'll stand and do work. But sometimes we want to sit on the couch, play a board game, sit down and actually eat our food. So we have this thing. This is actually my wife's Erica's grandfather's table, made in Poland, goodness knows how long ago. But it's got 2 leaves that fold up. So I mean it doubles in size from that. Folds down. And then inside the compartment here, and it is on wheels for easy movement, it slides right open, we have 4 extra chairs. So we have tons of extra seating if anybody needs it. When we were designing our house, we designed our house around the windows. So in the design phase, we went through and it's like, all right, we had all the windows picked out and kind of went, this is what we want, this is how we'll make it work. One thing for us is we wanted lots of light in the kitchen. Walk into a lot of tiny houses that have really small, kind of dark kitchens. That wasn't for us. We spend a lot of time cooking. We'll like to cook. So now we have this giant 6-foot window that is our entire kitchen wall. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love just watching the dogs play, when we're at the fest, watching people outside, all of that. Must have for us. Also, then I don't need lights. As you come through, we got a Suburban propane range. This thing is wonderful. We got one front, two in the back. It's a 21-inch, nice big large oven. We found the propane oven can be a little finicky, but we figured out how to make it work for us. Instant pot. No tiny household should be without this. This thing is amazing. This is the smaller one. This is a 3-quart Instant Pot. It's perfect to cook eggs, beans, chicken. We've made chili, salsa, all sorts of random things in it that we would need and want. And then it frees up the stove to do whatever we need to do with it. Storage. We have all our silverware, knives, using that wall space and vertical space as much as we can to put things away because we don't have upper cabinets. So we had to find another way to make it work. This wall is actually an old wine barrel that we then cut up into 4-inch squares and tiled together. It's called cobblestoning. Look didn't kind of come out the way we wanted. Who knew wooden barrel slats were not even in square? So it kind of made it a kind of a pain to put it up, but we made it work. I still like it. So we have a little pantry here. It's not too big, but it works for us. We're only 2 individuals. We don't have any kids. It works for us. There's a light here to see what you want to do. This is our nice little cart. Pulls right out. Access to both sides, whatever we need. This holds a lot of individual things. Storage and cleaning supplies store right under that and on the side of the fridge. Storage, spices, oatmeal, all of that lives on that wall. So close that. And then we have a apartment style fridge. This is a 9.9 cubic foot fridge, give or take, I don't remember exactly. But the best thing about it is it's a bottom freezer. That was also a must-have thing. We're big on storing things, so we can fit a lot in that drawer that you couldn't fit if you had shelves. And then we come over here. This is our beverage bar. This is probably my favorite place in the house. We have some spice racks here on the fridge. Like I said, we don't have upper cabinets, so we needed a place to store them. And then we have this. This is the one upper cabinet we have. Wonderful IKEA purchase. Keeps all of our coffee, teas, mugs, all those things up to the side. We do have our Chemex, and like one of the best things is when you build your own house, you can put in exactly what you want. So I put in a beer tap. It's what I wanted, made it work. And then underneath that, we do our trash and our laundry storage because, well, it's one of those things everybody has. All right, and then we move into the bathroom. This is our bathroom. We've been in quite a few tiny houses where you walk into a bathroom and it feels spacious. I've been in a few that are almost as big as my bedroom upstairs. Completely unnecessary for 2 of us. So when we built our bathroom, we literally just had our toilet and a shower, and that's it. These are about 30 inches by 7'4" is about our interior width. It's a perfect size. Wouldn't do anything different. The bathroom here, we have epoxy walls, which is awesome. Nice waterproof surface. Seals it up. Looks wonderful again with that copper theme. And then we have some exposed piping in the shower as well. I was going to school at the time we were building the house for mechanical trades, and that covered everything from plumbing, carpentry, electrical, HVAC, everything, and that's the skills I learned to build the house. And then part of those classes was soldering, and I love soldering, so I figured I'd just build a shower since I couldn't find one to fit my space. And then this side we got our nature's head with our little squatty potty, and then an access hatch into the mech room. The mechanical room's where I store everything, and we'll show you that later. And then some storage behind us with a fan. This was a labor of love. We went through about $56 and some change of pennies. Just randomly pennies collected from family, friends, what we had on hand, whatever we could find for pennies to make it work. Gorgeous. We thought about doing like a Where's Waldo of, hey, find this penny in the floor. There's a gold penny in there somewhere. There's a few really cool, unique back pennies that we've got. And then we just poured epoxy over it. I loved epoxy so much. It was so lightweight and versatile. I used it for my countertop, my walls, and the penny floor.
So this is what we lovingly refer to as the great room. So this is the front of the house, the front door. So this is what you walk into when you first enter the home. So the other end is the kitchen and the bathroom. So this is where what's essentially used as our living room / dining room. So just next to the door we have our TV and our entertainment center that we've built in. Nice big TV that lays flat and locks for when we travel, so it's nice we don't have to take it down. And then underneath we've got TV antenna, all of my husband's video games, Xbox, and all that. And then he also has a Raspberry Pi, which is kind of the perfect tiny house gaming system. It's got thousands of vintage video games on it. And then on this side, on the other side of the door, we have all the shoe storage. I was actually inspired by Alexis and Christian with Tiny House Expedition. Theirs is a little bit narrower, but we had the space to fill, so we just got some stair treads and keys and all that kind of stuff. We just kind of throw here, so when you first come in, take shoes off and you're on a roll. And then on this side we have our built-in L couch with lots of storage underneath. It's a little bit messy at the moment, but we've got some nice big bins that have camera equipment, hammocks, other odds and ends that need stored. In this one I keep all kinds of crafting supplies. I have a sewing machine in there, that kind of stuff, and it's really easily accessible. And then on this side we actually have an ottoman that pulls out. If we don't want to pull the whole table out, the tops flip over and turn into trays, so we can use it for, you know, snacks or drinks or any of that. But it's actually full of board games. We like to invite people over and have game nights. We do have the high ceilings. We really like to sit here, and you don't feel claustrophobic at all in this space. We have the option to sit on the couch and relax, or we can even string a couple hammocks in here if we want to. There's a spot behind the TV that links up into this corner, or we can actually attach between the lofts as well. We knew that we really wanted to have a lot of light, very open, and so it wasn't just a lot of windows, it was a lot of big windows. So as Ray mentioned, we have the big one in the kitchen. We wanted to have the two big windows opposite of each other so that you almost felt like you were outside. The skylight was definitely a must-have to bring in the light kind of in downwards. The way it hits inside here is really beautiful. And then the ceiling itself is actually, funny enough, my sister-in-law's neighbor's fence that blew down in a storm. He ended up selling the wood for, you know, a few bucks, so we ended up picking that up and repurposing it. We did do the shosugiban on it just to give it a little bit more texture, but it actually turned out really nice, I think. So on the tail end of the trailer we do have a small loft. It is large enough to fit a twin size bed, but since it is just two of us living here, we are currently using it as storage. It will eventually become an office or kind of a reading nook area once we figure out some of our other storage options for underneath the trailer. But for now it works really well, just to kind of throw some of our Rubbermaid bins and all that up there. In designing our tiny house, we definitely knew we needed a lot of storage. We're not minimalists by any means. So we put a lot of thought into where we wanted to be able to keep certain things, and where things ultimately got placed was really figured out after we moved into the tiny house. But we knew that the options to put things were definitely there. They were already built in for us. So we knew when we were designing the stairs, they definitely needed to be storage stairs. Down here on the bottom, we have a nice big space for our two little dogs that we have here. We keep a bed, and actually on the wall here is where the wheel well is, so it creates a nice little shelf to put their treats and their dog food and toys and all that good stuff as well. This is our bedroom loft. So it's approximately 13 feet deep from when you enter, which is actually a little bit longer than the downstairs portion of the house, and we'll explain why here in just a second. But we fit a queen bed in here very comfortably. At the very end we have a built-in headboard, so the top part of that will actually lift up. We keep extra blankets, winter clothes, all that kind of stuff in there. And then there's a little bit of storage on each side where we also are able to plug in all of our devices and things like that at the end of the day. So we did end up having to add in some hanging storage, which actually works out very well. So we hang all of our t-shirts and all that, and then of course we have the pants hangers as well, so it keeps everything looking a little bit nicer. It doesn't get as wrinkled. But we do keep some smaller bins under there for socks, little things like that. We have the two just above each of our heads, which we absolutely love. We get to go to bed every night looking at the stars, and we've actually spent several nights intentionally stargazing from the comfort of our own bed. I find that it's not really an issue, you know, in the mornings or anything like that, and with sunrises and all that. It's actually the side windows where we get more of the light. So at 5:30 in the morning, it comes blaring in one side rather than the skylight. But that can easily be fixed when we finally get some window treatments.
So this is the exterior of our house. We went with originally some Shugi Bond siding, but because of where we were parked, it turned into more of being sandblasted and just wiped away really quick. So we've since restained it. It gives us this really nice old rustic barn look. Kind of the original look we wanted, just not the way we wanted it to happen. But I love it. It came out really well, real pretty. It contrasts really nice with that copper roof. That roof is actually not copper. That is recycled aircraft aluminum. It is meant to look like aged copper in copper slate tires. My entire roof weighs roughly 150 pounds. So this is my wonderful invention. I love sitting in hammocks. Like Erica said earlier, we have 2 spots inside to sit in the hammock, but I wanted to sit in a hammock outside. And I can't always find a good tree. So I did some research and I found something similar, but they wanted way too much money. And I happen to work for Trailer Made Trailers now. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna build one. So I did. I built a bracket that mounted to the house with a trailer receiver hitch, so it can slide in and out as we need to, go camping, take it with us, throw it on the Subaru. The poles come out for collapsing. It's got a step or a table, whatever you may need to use it for, and 2 little cup holders. This is our propane. We have a 2 20-pound propane tanks, so very handy to have. Keeps them stored out of the way, and everything's good to go. And then this is my man cave. Inside our garage, I have my tools. We have a water tank, water heater, and then the keg storage for the tap inside is stored here to the right. And it also acts as a beer cellar. So I've cellared some beers in there. It's insulated on all 6 sides, and it holds its temperature really well if you happen to throw some ice in there or something like that. And then that's the access hatch from the bathroom. That way we can access the emergency panel if we need to for fuses or grab a tool or anything like that. I can also lock and unlock the door and flip light switches if I need to for it. I really love this garage.
Thank you so much for touring our home with us. We appreciate you taking the time. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at das_Kleine_house. And also on our blog, which I sometimes update, daskleinehouse.tumblr.com.